All right, well, it's good to be back at work. With the players being able to practice and being able to play. Obviously, we wanted to keep playing. The A&M game, but had the same issues they had earlier where they canceled. So, is what it is. Chance to finish the season with a winning record in SEC, all SEC games, which would be pretty exciting for our first year to do, especially knowing that we let a couple of them slip away that we should have won. So big challenge, extremely talented team as always. And even though it won't be full, you're still going into Baton Rouge, which is not an easy place to play ever. And they're coming off a great win, and where I don't think many people gave them a chance. So huge challenge for us.
David starts off.
Lane, I can't help but I got to ask you about the message on your shirt. What can you say about that?
It's Christmas time. And my favorite holiday of the year, I guess. And so just someone gave me a shirt and Merry Christmas. They spelled it wrong, so it was free.
Hey, in all seriousness though, the success on the field, how much is that? Do you attribute that to the meteoric rise of the recruiting rankings and stuff like that over the last couple of weeks?
A lot. Anytime you're playing, especially your first year, and these kids can't official visit. I think that there was probably a lot of concern out there. This was going to be a disaster class because we don't know the kids and we can't get them here. And one of the best things about here is to come on official visits for game day and see the town, see the university, see the stadium. And so they weren't able to do that. So I think the performance on the field, with all the national games, has gone a long ways because, the last few weeks have been awesome and great responses from kids. I think not just the success on the field, but, they talk about seeing the energy on the sidelines, the players having fun. They mention a lot the difference between, the two in-state programs. So it's been great.
Last year when you got here, it was kind of, everything was hurried and frenzied leading up to the early signing period. What does your war room look like this Wednesday? How is your setup? How are you guys going to do this Wednesday?
Well, like we said, we saved some spots, which we used in, I think 3 transfers, post-signing day, and then still have a few spots. So this class will be a lot better, like we said it would be, even though with the COVID issues. And just proud of our assistant coaches. It hasn't been easy. I think that not having a game last week really helped us a lot. We spent a ton of time on Zooms and basically doing home visits with kids on a screen. So it's been really neat, and we're not done yet. So I think you're going to see some more exciting things in the next 48 hours.
Thank you, Lane.
Yep.
Go to Nick.
Lane, just getting the team back on Friday and Saturday, how does everybody look after having to take that pause? And do you guys feel like you will be prepared to play a game on Saturday?
I do. I don't think it's ideal, but we definitely have fresh legs. That part's good, but it's taking a little bit of time getting back into it, and we don't have everybody yet. Because of those COVID guys, they're trickling back in. Some got back today, some back tomorrow, so that's a whole nother challenge, and some are very significant players.
Is there any chance that guys won't be back, or are you expecting the full roster to be back?
We expect them to be back. Their days will be up, so they should be back as long as they pass their final tests once they come out.
Go to Yancey.
Coach, speaking of Zoom meetings, did you have a good Zoom meeting last night?
As far as
There was without naming the prospect, there was supposed to have been a Zoom meeting with y'all and a major prospect last night.
Oh.
It's kind of a joke.
Oh, yeah. I didn't know. Yeah, we've been doing that every night. So I had a couple of them last night. So I obviously can't talk specifically, but really like the direction that things are going.
Coach, a follow-up question. Is there one position, it seems like middle linebacker is still kind of the spot you're trying to close in on before Wednesday?
We want to take the best available players, especially when we're early on, as we're continuing to try to build a program. I think later on, after years, then you get more specific like that. But, yeah, we would love to add, an impact middle linebacker for sure.
you said you were going to save 3 spots earlier, or you saved 3 from last class. Is there any number you have in mind that you want to save for the portal for this year?
There's not a lot of that. This is difficult. Like I've told our guys, it's kind of like being in the NFL. Like, if we got really good players that want to come, do we save really for free agency, and or do we cap out and take really good players? So, and we obviously still don't know a few guys. We won't know till Wednesday for sure. So, it's not an exact number at all. We could get all these guys we want and be capped out, or if we don't, we're not going to reach, and then we can go get some free agents.
Thank you.
Go to Parrish.
Lane, did you have conversations with Ed before taking the Ole Miss job about the Ole Miss job?
I don't think I did. I'd talked to him, years ago about it and stuff, and obviously had him on staff twice since then between USC and Tennessee, but no, I did not this time.
What can one big win like they experienced at Florida do for a team that had been struggling?
Well, it changed everything. I mean, you could see post-game their energy, and they played extremely hard in the game. Now the game could have went either way 100 times. I mean, don't throw a shoe, and probably talking about a totally different deal. So, I think that re-energized them. I think that it's been a lot harder. Obviously, losing that game, now go back and whatever losing streak that would be, they'd be on. But I'm sure that gave them a bunch of energy and wanted to finish strong.
Go to David.
Lane, the expectations are for Ole Miss to go to a bowl game for the first time in 5 years. If that happens, what does that mean for the program in terms of extra practices, and particularly for the younger guys, things like that? How will you use that time?
Well, I hope it's not when it or if it happens, like you said. I'm assuming it's when it happens. So we're excited about that. It helps for the development of all your players. Fan energy, be great to play in a great bowl game. Actually, some of our mid-years that'll be January guys can actually come practice for a few days with us. So that'll be pretty neat too.
Neil, go ahead.
Hey, Lane, I was wondering if you could expound a little bit on your relationship with Ed. You guys go way back, have been at different places together. Before you got the FAU job, there was a lot of talk about you joining him in Baton Rouge. Just how did that relationship come about, and how is it that, you guys are kind of different people. How do you get along so well?
I would have been, I think, 24 when Pete Carroll hired me. Ed Orgeron was carried over from the previous staff, and I was just a young coach. He was recruiting coordinator, had obviously been a great recruiter, and so really learned a lot from him. Just watched how he worked, and how I'd go do visits with him. We'd go in-home visits and in schools together, so I learned a lot from him in recruiting. Then was able to, when we got Tennessee, to talk him out of leaving New Orleans, which, he was in Louisiana. He was happy and at the Saints, and we're able to talk him into coming there. And then, the USC thing, he was there before me. So he said when USC offered a job, he said, I'm on a plane to LA, I'll meet you there. So he got there a day before I got there. He was so excited to go back to SC, and so obviously unbelievable job last year, and great recruiter and great motivator.
And I know that on another note with LSU, that Stingley, his status is kind of up in the air, but if he's out there and if he's healthy, what sort of a challenge does he present to you guys offensively?
Yeah, really good cover player. I would think he's playing, because I thought it looked like on the TV copy he was in pads and stuff, so he must have, in order to travel and put him in pads, he must have been close to playing, or else, I don't think that would have happened. So I would certainly think that he's going to play.
Back to David.
Lane, you mentioned last week you were concerned a little bit about the layoff and the focus of your team and everything. Is there anything extra or special you do this week to kind of gather that focus back in for this final regular season game?
Yeah, just talked to them a lot, this morning about the importance of the game. You don't remember the rest of your life. You go into Tiger Stadium and beat LSU, and nobody's going to remember it was COVID or opt-outs or any of that stuff. So pretty neat. None of these guys have done that. So, this is a it's a huge game and really important too, besides just being LSU to, I think, all you guys would have said, pretty successful season if after seeing that SEC schedule roll out that you're going to have a winning record. So that'd be awesome.
Back to Nick.
Lane kind of got to ask about some of the rumors that'll circulate about Auburn wanting to reach out to you for that vacancy. Have they reached out, and do you pay attention when your name comes up as a sitting Power 5 head coach for other jobs like that?
Yeah, I don't. That's just product of when your players play well, you're going to be in rumors like that. So there's been no conversations, anything like that. I wanted to say, what I learned from my mentor, that if you guys are going to keep asking this, I'm going to have to tell you, I will not be the head coach at Alabama, okay? So stop asking me. I wasn't supposed to say that, but I just had to.